I did it! I redid the entire level. It was great. That was really unfortunate, but I had to go, and I was not expecting a 30-minute continuous thing with no breaks and no save points. And I couldn't stick around for whatever comes next. Couldn't even let him sit down? Cross leg? They look like fish.
まさか本当にここまで来るとは。伝説の極道ってのはこういうもんなのか。
ゲームは終わりだ。取引に応じろ。
まあいいだろう。約束だからな。俺は男気はないが仁義は守るよ。
お前が欲しがっているファイルだ。早くその二人と1000億を渡せ。
まあ焦るな。1000億なんて大金そうそう簡単に運べるもんじゃない。そろそろここに届くはずだ。
This is actually a really inconvenient place for the cash. Could you put the cash in the vault and install a lock? Bringing the cash here is actually very unhelpful.
お待たせしました。お約束の現金1000億です。
お前がヒドか。
桐生一馬さんですね。こうしてお会いできるなんて光栄です。
さあ役者は揃った。それじゃそろそろ取引に入ろう。
ああ。
物々交換としよう。まずは冴島靖子からだ。あんたはその場から動くんじゃない。木戸がそっちに行ったらその女と引き換えにそのファイルを木戸に手渡せ。ファイルの中身を確認したら冴島と1000億をここに置いたまま俺たちは帰る。
分かった。
さすがだな。こういう場でも動揺一つ見せないとは。まあいい。行け。
ごめんね。ファイルを。
大丈夫か。
ごめんなさい。私が言うこと聞かなかったから。
もういい。兄貴とは話せたのか。
ええ、長い時間一緒に監禁されてたから。
そうか。
おめでたいやつらだ。まさか本当に生きてここから帰れると思っていたのか。
桂木、
起動撃て
Quick, Kiryu, use your heat action. Oh, is Kido gonna betray him? Yes. Is there blood though, or is it a fake bullet too? It's a lot of fake bullets. I don't see any blood. Did you just shoot him with 4 rubber bullets, you weirdo? Did you know they were rubber? All I saw was holes.
こういうことです。
Awry was behind everything. Looks like your plans just went awry.
洗いだと
桂木さん、俺が兄貴のことを裏切るとでも思ったんですか？兄貴、これを。
さすが俺の兄弟分だ。よくやったな、木戸。はい。
See, he's got blood on him. Arai's a real piece of shit. Akiyama's a terrible judge of character. Akiyama's just an idiot every time he thinks or does anything. He was backing the guy that's so bad he would kill his Aniki. That was really well, like, orchestrated though, like... I wish I could have been there for, like, the betrayal rehearsal. Like, it was choreographed. Yeah, that's a lot of blood. Why didn't Kido notice there was no blood on Kitsuragi?
東上会柴田組金村工業若頭の新井です。こうしてお目にかかれて光栄です。
何ふざけたこと言ってんだ。お前、自分が何をしているのか分かってんのか。お前は今、自分の兄弟を裏切ったんだぞ。それがどんなことか分かってんのか。
ええ、分かってます。十分なほどにね。
おい、新井。登場会はお前に渡さねえ。何があろうと俺が食い止めてやる。いいな。
遅すぎるんですよ。あなたはいつも遅すぎる。だからこうなるんです。
Damn. That's a solid Kiryu burn.
やすこ、早せ。まだ奴が生きとる。桂木。ね
え。よくわかったな。25年前よりは利口になったじゃねえか。
I don't think you can shoot a bulletproof vest that many times.
結局お前は誰一人殺せなかった。最低のヒットマンのくせにな。笹井もかわいそうだな。お前みたいな間抜けな子分を持って。
なえたわ。
お前のようなカス殺す気もせん。一生そこで寝てろや。
No, a lot of problems would be solved if you guys killed people more often, honestly. Guys, we can't keep doing this.
このボケが。
God damn it, guys. This is like the 6th time this has happened.
安子、おい、安子、安子。
ちょっと待っててね。
安子、おい、お前何してんねや。おい。なんだお前は。どうしてお前が銃を。
谷村さんに渡されていたの。きっとこの銃はあの人のお父さんの無念を晴らすため私に託されたものだったのね。
おい、何してんねん。
来ないで。ありがとうお兄ちゃん。たった1日だったけどお兄ちゃんと話せて嬉しかった。
安子、
お兄ちゃんは無実よ。でも私はたくさん人を殺してしまった。だから私にやらせて。
That's not how innocence works.
やめろ。
こんな形でしか恩返しできない私を許して。
安子。おい、安子、安子、返事してくれや。おい。
ごめんね。お兄ちゃん。
おい、安子、安子、おい。
That was so good. On one hand, I'm really mad at Kido for falling for the exact same thing that is the premise of Kitsuragi's whole shtick, which is faking shootings and whatnot. I'm a little unclear on who was in on it, because there's a lot of factions at this point, and I'm like, wait, was Arai also planning on Kitsuragi not getting shot to death? Or because Kido, and also like, was Kido in on it? I assume he wasn't in on it, and that it genuinely was his big betrayal. But it's like, sure is convenient, because apparently he didn't replace his bullets with rubber bullets, which I was ready for it to be that again. But instead he was wearing a vest again, which I think the way that vests work is that they have a reaction to like an incoming velocity that protects you from that specific impact. But if you keep shooting them, it actually just stops working. I think bulletproof vests are single use, but there might be different kinds of bulletproof vests. They also might have been made differently. Wait, I was about to say they might have been made differently in the 80s, but that only talks about Saijima's flashback. This game's set in 2010. I think Bulletproof Vests usually are the type that, like, they have, like, a reaction to the impact that stops it, but then it's, like, spent, and you can't just keep shooting it over and over again. So it shouldn't have worked if I'm right about that, but boy, do I not know shit about guns and police items and army items and so on, so I'm not going to really lean on that hard. But it sure is convenient Kido didn't shoot him anywhere else, or that would have really not gone according to plan. Not exactly as bulletproof as a plan, without the rubber bullets, which themselves are also just, admittedly, but like I said before, rubber bullets are only less than lethal, which means that they can still be lethal. They're not even less than lethal. They're just less lethal than normal shots. Rubber bullets are dangerous. But I was primed. The game has primed me to look for blood now, which before I didn't know, because you never know, like, what's the level of standards for blood in this game in a particular cutscene. It's one thing, admittedly, during combat, when you do heat actions, it's surprisingly bloody during combat, and I feel like the remakes and Zero, if I remember correctly, were less bloody. Like, it's like the earlier Yakuza games are more bloody, and the later games, I think, are less bloody, including the remakes during those kinds of big heat actions. So you're, like, a little aghast at what Kiryu's doing to people when their mouth's hanging open in a ghastly abyss, and they're covered in blood. You're like, oh no, I'm a bad guy. But then Kido's plans went awry. I'm saying the joke again, because Arai is a dick. Oh, my controller just... Why? I didn't idle for that long. Oh wait, maybe I did, because the whole cutscene just played. That's true. So I wasn't pressing controller buttons this whole time. But I'm mad that Kido fell for the stupid thing. I don't remember if Kido knows about Katsuragi's bullshit, but having him just keep working is like, it gets annoying at some point. But much more egregious is this goddamn thing where Yakuza protagonists are like, ah, my honor, or ah, you're not worth killing, or whatever the fuck, and they spare the bad guy, then walk away, turning their back, and the bad guy's like, haha, I have a gun, what the fuck were you expecting? And they, shoot them. Like, I'm like 99% sure this has happened at least once, and I'm like 70% sure it's happened more than once already in Yakuza games I've played. And I think it even was literally how someone died already. And it's just like, you guys can't keep doing this. Like, I get that we haven't played as Saijima before, so it's him doing it for the first time. So you gotta lose a few family members to this really stupid mistake before it sticks. But like, holy shit, man. It's... these people are shitty, horrible people, but this guy's particular case, he's not even particularly wounded. Like, he's like winded and bruised because he like took some bullets through a bulletproof vest, but it's like, that's like less damage than you usually take in a fist fight with Kiryu, and people survive those all the time. So I'm just like, come on. And so it's a frustrating way for a main character to die, because you're like, guys, this is so preventable. You should always assume they have a gun or something. I swear this might have happened in Yakuza 3, the last game we played. I'm not going to check the whole thing right now, but I feel like that happened either on the roof with the American, or in that one like stadium with the guy that looked like the other guy that died in the previous game. There's a lot of characters that die. But they kind of made up for it with Yasuko's final moments being this big like angel of death moment, where she just keeps walking toward, like, the bullet wound is bad because it didn't come out the other side. Like, we've had bullet wounds in this game already where there's a bullet hole on both sides, which means it went through, which is supposed to be in some cases less damaging, because if the bullet, obviously if it hits something important, then you're fucked. But if it goes all the way through, supposedly that's less force than if your body stops the bullet, and it does like more damage when that happens or something. In addition to having a bullet now in your body that maybe has to be extracted, although sometimes they leave them in, I guess, because it's too dangerous to take them out, and it technically doesn't do that much Sometimes it's not that much danger to have it in there. It fucks up airport checkpoints for the rest of your life, I guess. But your body stopping the bullet was really bad, and it stopped the bullet in her case and went in her back, and then there was nothing on her front, so that's bad. But she's just like walking towards him with this horrible certainty, and he's like firing all these shots, and none of them are hitting her, almost like she's invincible at this point. It's like his panic, and he's missing, I guess, because nobody's that practiced at using guns in Japan. But he's just firing away, and she's just coming at him. It's like, oh shit! It's because you're the one that made her kill like 18 people or something. Not 18. That's Saijima's number. That isn't his number, but it's still his number. He's not innocent. Stop calling him innocent. He went in to kill 18 people and did shoot them with guns, thinking that they'd die. That's 18 cases of attempted manslaughter. That's pretty bad. Like he's an incredibly incompetent hitman, but that doesn't make him not a hitman, because he definitely shot 18 people. Just so we're clear, like, you can't keep saying he's innocent and there's no blood on his hands, because he definitely was orchestrated as he was an accomplice, where he was an unwitting accomplice because he didn't know about the conspiracy. But the end result of the conspiracy was to kill the people that he wanted to kill. So it's not like he's innocent of their deaths just because he didn't know he was an accomplice in this conspiracy, because his goal was to kill them, and the conspiracy was to kill them. I'm still confused why he had rubber bullets. It basically was just to help and make sure Katsuragi survived. And that's it. Like, it was only for his own sake, and it was a bad plan for 12 reasons, which I've already been into. But he's definitely 1000% not innocent, and definitely has blood on his hands. And he definitely is the reason of why 18 people died. Like, it's not really ambiguous, so stop saying he's innocent. But Katsuragi made her kill a bunch of people that would benefit him in order to go to get Saejima back, which of course was never a good deal, and it was never going to happen. So having her walking towards him as this distressing, like, death phantom that's dying just to execute him was just a really cool ending to the scene, which itself was a cheesy series of like 12 betrayals, to the point where it's getting genuinely difficult to remember what all the factions are. I definitely lost, maybe because Arai has barely been seen in this game. Like, we met him in Kido at the beginning, and then we saw him once at the beginning of Tanemura's campaign, when he like revealed the crucial exposition that made Tanemura a part of the plot. And we mostly haven't seen him since, and most of the times he does show up, he doesn't say anything, I think. So I kind of lost track of what the fuck his deal was, even though he seems to be the most important character, kind of. And kind of just thought he was working with Kido and Katsuragi. So when Kido betrayed Katsuragi for Arai, and then Arai betrayed Kido, I was like, wait, what side is Arai on? Because now I'm lost. Then finally, after a lot of plot points where I completely can follow what's happening, and I'm getting frustrated by that because of how insane the plot is when you understand it, and you're like, no, wait, no, the vault, no, that's not acceptable. I have completely lost track of Arai, which is a problem, because he's the only remaining villain, because Katsuragi and Kido are dead now. So now it's just Arai, and every other villain, including all the plot twist betrayal people, like Tanemura's friend in the police force, they're all dead. The guy who killed, the guy who betrayed Tanemura's dad is dead. The guy who killed Tanemura's dad is dead. The guy that betrayed Tanemura is dead. Kido is dead. Everyone's dead. It's just Arai, and I don't remember what his deal is, so that's kind of not good for me. They finally lost me right at the end, like always. Here we go.
何? 殺し損ねただと? 君らしくない失態だな。
申し訳ありません。
さすがの君でも情で手元が狂ったというのか。まあいい。
木戸とかいうチンピラが一人生きていたとこで大した問題じゃない。
Ah.
上の清和会も桐生一馬が潰してくれた。だが問題は金の方だよ。
金。
そうだ。こうしてファイルは無事取り戻した。だがどうして君はあの現場から1000億を持ち帰らなかったんだ。
Shit's heavy.
やろうと思えば持ち帰れたはずだ。警察の手を使えばすぐに押収できた。だが君はそれをしなかった。
副総監のご指示にありませんでしたので。
困るんだよ、それじゃ。いいか、君はこれから私と手を組んで裏社会を取り仕切る人間なんだ。そんな人間が出生不明の1000億という金を目の前に手ぶらで帰ってくるようでは話にならん。もっと起点を聞かせてくれ。理想のためにはまだまだ金がかかるんだ。それぐらい君も分かっているだろ
う。はい。
分かればいい。それで今その現金はどこにあるんだ。
桐生一馬、それにその協力者のもとにあると。
そっか。1000億は君に責任を持って奪ってきてもらうよ。
どうやって？
取引するんだ。人間誰しも弱みというものはあるものだ。沖縄に行ってこの子供たちを連れてきなさい。そうすればあの桐生という男は取引に応じるはずだ。返事がないよ、新井君。まさか私の命令が聞けないわけではあるまい。
はい。
万が一拘束に手間取るようならこの銃を使いなさい。これならば足がつくことはない。いいね。
副総監。
ん？君。
もうこれ以上あなたの指示には従えません。
新井。
私にも極道として、いや警察官としての信念がありますから。
No blood. He's fine. The moment he turned his back in the chair, I'm like, wait, he's doing the thing. He's gonna die. He turned his back on a guy with a gun again. Oh my god. So I guess we're not going after the children. Even the villain, alright. Yeah, I forgot that the commissioner is also in this thing, so there was still one villain left, but that got resolved shortly after, so I guess that was only a temporary mistake on my part. Even Arai won't go hunting children, apparently. He has some code, even though I didn't kill, but he shot his own Aniki. But yeah, Kito's alive apparently. I guess that makes sense. That was ambiguous. Like when he was descending down with a bullet wound, I'm like, I've seen people survive worse in this game, including Kiryu. Admittedly, it still feels like Yakuza 2 was written to be the end of Kiryu. Like he was supposed to die 2 games ago. Because that rooftop battle was supposed to be the final battle and their deaths and so on. Or wait, wasn't it like they're both like fatally wounded and then the whole building was gonna explode? I'm trying to remember, yeah. So they're like, let's fight then to prove who's the Dragon of Dojima, even though only one of us has won every one of these fights. So it's already an unambiguous thing who's the real dragon of Japan or whatever, because Kiryu won every fight So it's like, I think it was like Ryushi's third loss. Then he just died of his wounds. But he's in Dead Souls. So that's weird. I guess it is a zombie game, so maybe he's a zombie. He's zombie Ryushi. As a main character. Why not? I'm sure that whole game's not canon, so maybe they just lie about the canon that exists outside of it too, in order to make that happen. But then I think the bomb gets disabled, and then somebody just flies with a helicopter and saves them. I lost my train of thought a little bit here. Anyway, people have survived more bullet wounds. I think they were both shot at that point, weren't they? Is that what their wounds were? There was definitely an assassin that shot Kiryu in like 0 or 1, I think. And then he just like was doing big fights like 2 hours later, as if he didn't have bullet wounds that would put you down for a week. So I guess Kido's okay, or you know, by Yakuza standards. And he did betray Katsuragi to not kill Yasuko. So that's nice, but he was still allied with Arai, so I don't really know how the group would feel about him. He did get betrayed by Arai, but did the group understand what side Arai would mean? So, like, betraying Katsuragi to side with Arai based on the pretenses that Kido believed in at the time, what would the group think he meant about that? Where does that place Kido allegiance-wise? Not with Arai, because Arai shot him, because Arai was lying. But I've lost. This is what I mean when there's a lot of factions. Where's Akiyama? Over at his office. Said he needed some time alone. Is he installing a fucking lock? Can't say I blame him. Not with how he felt about Yasuko-san, who got captured because he's an idiot. Just so we're clear. It was also Yasuko. The thought did occur to me during the cutscene. It is also Yasuko's fault because they had a clear plan. I'm gonna go find your brother, stay here, and we can bring you back together, and we can deal with this plan. And then she immediately ran off and got captured, which was just wow. And so many problems could be solved with phones. Once again, no one calls each other in this universe. But she ran off, you need to chase her, and then she runs off to get, like, captured and killed, which is just a mess. But Akiyama is especially at fault because they didn't have to split up, because they were all together with Yasuko, which meant they could have all been fine. All three of them could have been together, and Kiryu would have probably fucking destroyed Katsuragi and broken the plot of the game. But you two both had to fight Kiryu for a stupid Avengers moment, because Akiyama doesn't know what his hero looks like. What? Ah. But yeah, your love of your life is dead. The character you knew so little you didn't even know her real name. Yeah, I can't imagine. Can you though? It was like it was basically parasocial relationship. It was like an imagined fucking love at first sight Disney bullshit thing. Anyway, what now? Munakata has probably had his paws on that file for a while at this point. Good question. Well, we can't let things end like this, that's for sure. Yasuko-san's dead. Munakata's still on the force. Ha! Ah. Oh. And nobody's doing a damn thing about it. You think I'm just going to sit around and let that stand? Tanimura. Where are you going? I'm gonna tell you that. Saejima, we have proof now that you didn't commit those murders 25 years ago. You just attempted murder 25 years. I guess that is convenient. I guess you might be out, because the attempted manslaughter might be over by now, sentence-wise. Like, if they relitigate it with the new evidence, then yes, you might now be considered as serving your time. So I guess that's the distinction and why they're clarifying this, because his life sentence, not even life sentence, his his death row sentence suddenly becomes a time served sentence. So I guess he'll be in future Yakuza games then, unless he dies in this game. Which I doubt, because they're specifically making it up that they're specifically setting him up to be free now. So I guess that's the point, yeah. You'll be a free man once we get them to review your case. Don't give a rat's ass one way or another. Do whatever you want to do. I ain't going nowhere. Just gotta go get some fresh air. Out in public with all the police that will attack me. Because sentence or not, you get...
はるかか。どうした？何かあったのか？
おじさん、浜崎さんが
浜崎？浜崎がどうした？
ついさっき亡くなっちゃった。病院で。お医者さんの話だと背中から銃で撃たれたことが原因だって。
いや、そうか。わかった。はるかも看病してくれてありがとうな。
いや、そんなことはいいよ。ねえ、おじさん。
ん？なんだ？
浜崎さんっておじさんのこと守って死んじゃったんだよね。
ああ、そうだ。あいつは俺を守ってくれたんだ。
私、あの浜崎っておじさんのこと勘違いしてた。
そうか。
浜崎さん、亡くなる少し前に私に話してくれたの。警察から登場会を守ってくれ。登場会は俺たちの生きた証だって言ってた。おじさんと冴島さんにもこのこと伝えてくれって。
わかった。ちゃんと伝えてくれてありがとうな。
うん。
それで浜崎の遺体は？
朝顔の方で一旦引き取ることにした。それでよかった？
ああ、それでいい。すまなかったな。いろいろ面倒かけて。
大丈夫。心配しないで。
もうすぐしたら沖縄に帰れると思う。俺が帰ったら供養してやるつもりだ。
うん。
それじゃあ。
Is that person about to just walk in? Is that also not locked? Get locks! Oh my god, Kayama, what is your deal? It's just staring at an open vault!
冴島。
復讐ならせえへん。俺には警察の不正とかそんなんはどうでもいいからな。
はるかから電話があった。さっき浜崎が息を引き取ったそうだ。
なんやと？
浜崎はな、沖縄で俺と安子さんを守ろうとした時傷を負ってたらしい。今朝まで懸命な治療をしていたが、最後は眠るように言ったそうだ。お前にはるかから伝言だ。浜崎は死の間際こう言ったらしい。警察から登場会を守ってくれと。登場会は俺たちの生きた証だとな。
兄弟。
40年も生きてやっと分かった。俺もあんたも自分に正直に生きてはならない人間なんだ。常に人から何かを託され、常に何かを守らなきゃならない。俺はこの数年そんな自分の運命に抗ってきた。 だがもうそろそろ抗うのをやめようと思う。
飛龍。
やるしかねえんだよ、俺たちは。いろんな人間の夢を叶えるためにな。
そうだ。俺らはまだやらなきゃならないことがあるんだ。
ボスザルは猿山にいてこそふさわしい。ここにいる全員まだやり残してることがあるんじゃないですかね。
There's a few, God, I have a backlog here of thoughts. I think I forgot to talk about like how before Arai betrayed the cops, I was like, oh, Kiryu is about to learn the superhero lesson about why superheroes wear masks, because his whole he doesn't his identity, his secret identity is known. He just has an orphanage tied to him. You're really relying on like a code of conduct from any Yakuza and people you deal with, that they won't just hunt down the orphanage and go after them. Which the whole last game was about them trying to destroy your orphanage in maybe less direct ways, and more direct, it varied a bit. But like, even that game, you were dealing with the fucking triad, which in a Yakuza game particularly, tends to get expressed as being like the bad version of the Yakuza. It's like, oh, the Yakuza has like a code, but the triad, they're fucking crazy. They're like cartels. And it's like, what's stopping them from just going after those kids that you are like publicly known for being connected to? So it was interesting to see that come up again. It's like, that's how you know the cop was the real bad guy, is he's like, go after these kids. It's like, oh shit, he's even worse than the Yakuza. Kuze would never go after the kids, maybe. I don't know, would he? I keep going back to Kuze. It's hard to forget Kuze because you fight him like 7 times. Like, it's like Majima everywhere, except they're all unique encounters with cutscenes, and that makes it better. Instead of just Majima over and over again for 12 hours. So that's a whole thing. But they could not have telegraphed the cop's death more when he fucking was like, okay, Arai, character who, just by like character design alone, gives you a vague idea that he's got like, he's not as scummy as some of the other characters, but just, you know, still bad enough to shoot his own sworn brother, but in like a way where it's like he survives apparently. The moment you're like, go get these children and kidnap them to use them as leverage. Here's a gun. I'm gonna turn my back now. It's like, all right, well, he's gonna get shot. He's doing the Saijima thing, and he just turned his back on a guy with a gun. That's like, could not be more. This guy's gonna get shot now. But Hamazaki's death is interesting. I guess we kind of knew it was coming because he collapsed with a bullet hole. Like, that was a thing. And at that point, you're like, oh, he's keeping it from everyone. He's probably just gonna die then. I was honestly a little surprised anyone even found him. They were he collapsed in an abandoned building. I'm a little surprised he died in a hospital and it's supposed to just being found dead one day. But I guess they wanted to have Haruka have a bit of a character arc and spend his final moments with him off camera, and have that beat happen. I'm still confused about his wound. Maybe I just missed something or forgot, but I don't remember a gun. And guns usually stand out. If nothing else, they're very loud. But if it was a combat gun and not a cutscene gun, then it's easy to forget about them because they're just sprinkled throughout the game sometimes. And I guess maybe it's supposed to just be a surprise that he died. So maybe if I go back to that fight, I'll see that somebody had a gun at some point. The big bad irritating guy that I've fought too many times now with the stun, that has the stun thing, he didn't have a gun. He had like a stun baton, didn't he? So it wasn't him. So Hamazaki just like tragically must have died from like a random goon or something. But because I didn't remember there being a gun at all, because it wasn't like established in the importance of a cutscene. I kind of thought his old wounds just opened up again. It is a hell of a thing that he like gets shot, falls off a building into the ocean, survives at sea somehow for multiple days, and that's all fine. But he gets shot in this situation, and this time he's dead. But it was like center mass, which is pretty bad. But I was thinking about Hamazaki and how complicated this is, and it's like I gotta hand it to the developers, or the writers on some level, is that like some of the stuff is just a huge mess and it drives me crazy, but I kind of marvel at the idea of writing such a complicated story. Like I definitely like, wow, there's so many moving parts. Like you've got to like, there's definitely like, you definitely outline these things on a crazy level, and you have like the 4 parallel storylines and how they intersect with each other, and you have characters like Hamazaki that influence multiple characters' storylines, because he directly influences Kiryu, Saejima, and Yasuko. And he intersects with all their stories in different ways at different times, and like that's all like a big deal how that's handled. And like his death is still coming up later in the story now, because he's like his like big final words then serve as motivation for Saejima at a point where he has lost his motivation, because the only person he was trying to save is already dead. He's already gotten the answers that he wanted to get earlier in the campaign, and he even said it was a little weird there. Even he's like, I don't care about revenge, and it's like that seems a little bit weird to say, because like Yasuko's killer is already dead, because she killed him, so revenge is a bit taken away. But when I spend longer on it, I can think about like, oh right, because he probably wants to revenge against the Tojo or Ueno Saiwa clan? No. We haven't... There's a lot of factions. The people behind the conspiracy. Somebody's got to still be alive that is at fault for this, and so he could want revenge on them and keep going deeper. Majima is surprisingly low impact character in this campaign. He just got hauled off. He just got hauled off in Chapter 2 of Kiryu's campaign and hasn't come up since, and probably won't in the rest of the campaign at this rate. It's like, oh, well, bye Majima. He was an end of campaign stinger for the first 2 campaigns. Did nothing in Tanimura's, I think, because his conspiracy with his question with Saejima had already been resolved at that point. And then he's just he's like a sort of like another inciting incident for Kiryu. Just seeing him get hauled off there, but he's mostly you kind of just see him in brief 2-minute spurts every like 8 hours. But yeah, I definitely like... It sounds really fun to write a story for a game like this. Like, stressful if it's real. If it's a real job for a real game, the stakes and the deadlines and so on would be stressful. But like, trying to like figure out how to orchestrate such a complicated plot with so many moving parts and characters and character motivations and conspiracies and factions, like, be a fun, stupid writing exercise. It'd be like I think about like some of my favorite movies are the Coen Brothers movies, where, and not even necessarily just movies by the Coen Brothers, but movies that have their style, where you have a bunch of characters that all have their own motivations, and it just gets messy. Like they all just start colliding with each other, and they all like are cutting off each other's plots and making a mess of everything, and it doesn't feel like a carefully planned heist movie where everything falls together in a cathartic and satisfying way, but instead just is this bloodbath of just things falling apart. Like the Fargo show is so fun to watch for that kind of mess, where you're like, oh god, oh no, I really don't want these 2 characters to ever be in the same room as each other, because that's gonna go bad, and like that kind of thing. And it's like setting up that kind of story has got to be like a fun writing exercise, just the mess of it all. Anyway, now I gotta try to... God. Voicing all 4 of these characters at the same time is going to be fun. I've got an idea. Let's use my 100 bill. How exactly? It's simple. We haul it up to the roof of the Millennium Tower, which I have to remind myself is not where we were, because that felt like the Millennium Tower again, but now we can use Kamurocho Hills from Majima Construction as another Millennium Tower. Because it felt like we were at the Millennium Tower already. Of course the story's gonna end on the Millennium Tower. Then kick back and wait. What? That's it? That's it. Back it up a sec. What's that accomplish? It'll bring all the flies buzzing straight into our web. Lies? Not literally. I'm talking about our enemies. That's kind of a broad term. Who exactly are you thinking is gonna show? Not sure. We'll just have to wait and find out. Huh? You're not making any sense, man. What if the entire, like, blue barracudas show up, or whatever the fuck they were called? You're like, ah, it's the side quest people, we're here to take the money. It's like, wait, no, not you. Go away. Ah, the 5 billionaires, they're here to take your 100 bill. Just hold on a sec. Think about everyone we know who's wrapped up in all this. Munakata, Arai... Is Munakata the guy that's been shot? Who mysteriously didn't have blood again, which is a kind of a gap in a game full of blood not being shown as being a plot point now. But I don't know how he would have not had blood. Did Arai pretend to shoot him for the benefit of nobody that was there? Munakata, Arai-san, Kido-chan, the Tojo. Remember the Tojo clan? Remember when... Remember when Daigo Dojima was in one scene of this game? Is his name Daigo? We protected him a bit as a kid or a teenager, and then he inherited the Tojo clan. Is this his name Daigo? I commented earlier in this playthrough that the Tojo clan is in such a sad state because they did a panning shot of all the chairmen, or not all the chairmen. There's only one chairman, but all the people all the men in chairs around the chairman, and like, not only was there like only one unique character, like main character looking character in the entire room, besides Daigo, when it used to be full of people like the bald guy and Majima and Kashiwagi and so on. Like, it used to be a big deal who all the players were, and this game just, at this point, there just aren't any big players in the Dojo clan. They're so unimportant to the story, despite being the background noise or like the catalyst or whatever. They literally had repeating character models in the Tojo clan. I'm like, this is supposed to be the top guys. At least don't repeat the character models, man. Like, this place is a sad state now. All those parties are playing different roles in this little performance, but we don't know who's the real ringleader. It's great that we've admitted that even in the finale, the main characters don't really know what's going on still. I feel in good company at that point. Until we get them all in one place, laying it all out on the line, we're just gonna be shooting in the dark. Did you get a fucking lock yet? So we'll lure them out to find out who's really in charge. Exactly. We'll tell each party that we're keeping the cash on the roof of the Millennium Tower, and they can come up and make a deal with us if they want a slice of the pie. That's a weird thing to make a deal about. Nobody has any claim on that $100 billion. That's just your money. Like, it's not in play. That's a weird... What? You're just bribing them into a trap, which they're supposed to be smart enough not to go into. Kiryu just walks into, admittedly partly because he's got that Taken energy, that confidence of like, hey, I will find you and I will kill you, minus the last part. I will find you and I will cure you. He's gonna cure you so hard, all over you. And that's threatening enough, honestly. That's the confidence he goes in with. We play our cards right. We all slam head first into each other. And then they'll duke it out over the money. Yup. Though I don't really care if they fight or not. All that matters is we figure out who the big bad is. And you're willing to sacrifice all your money for that? Can't you just pretend to take the money there? And then watch them all show up? Hopefully they all show up at the same time. From then on, it'll just be a good old-fashioned beatdown. That's my kind of plan. It is. Then that's what... That's the what and where settled then. What about the when? Well, it's gonna take a while to haul those stacks up there. I'm sure all of you have stuff you want to handle before we execute the plan. Side quests, if you will. How about we go our separate ways for a while, grab some food, hit up a few convenience stores, then meet back here when we're ready. Works for me. Sounds like a plan. You good with that, Sajima-san? Yeah, I'm in.
よし。じゃあそれまでは各自自由時間ってことで。
え？こういうのやめません？ちょっと古臭いし。
いいからいいから。こういうの大事なんだって。さ、手出して。
わかりましたよ。あ、佐島さん？
軽い感じで話しちゃいましたけど、一歩間違えば普通に死ぬかもしれない賭けだ。覚悟はできてますね。じゃあ。
There, you happy now? We're all standing up like a bunch of dumbasses. Was Rocket's cute quote? I don't remember. That might have been it. Why is Saejima the hesitant one? Maybe it's just because he's just in a bummer mood right now for obvious reasons. Because the only two people he cared about are dead, except Majima, I guess. Because I guess since he knows that Majima was forced into betraying him. Actually, he knows Majima didn't betray him. He just got chained to a pole and his eye removed, so he couldn't have done anything about it at that point. So I guess Majima's the only person he cares about at this point, which the more I say it, the more it calls out to me that Saejima and Majima is like, they have weirdly similar names, almost like Saejima was conceived just to be a part of Majima's storyline, so they made him have weirdly similar names, but maybe they have distinct meanings in Japanese, or who knows. But yeah, Hamazaki and Yasuko are both dead. But I was gonna say, like, why does he have a problem with emotional sincerity? Like, you're gonna tell me the guy that became blood brothers with somebody in one day has emotional sincerity problems of all these people? Like, you'd think that either Akiyama or Tanemura might be the last person in, because Kiryu and Saejima like are heart on their sleeve types, as far as I can tell. They're like in, generally speaking. But he's just probably just having a bad day, because he's having a really bad time, honestly. Let me know when you guys are ready to go to the Millennium Tower. We'll head out once all four of you are good. Oh. And I brought some blankets so you can rest. Can't take down a massive criminal conspiracy without a little beauty sleep, right? You can switch between day and night here. At the blankets, you just like touch them. And I guess maybe if I talk to a character, I'd change characters? Am I everybody now, or am I just Kiryu right now? Either way, it's time to save. The question is whether, I can't tell from here. The question is whether or not there are side quests in the final chapter. Otherwise, yeah, next episode might be the finale. Oh, Kiryu. Why don't you take a load off for a bit? Be glad to run some errands if you need a hand. That's a good idea. Thanks, Saejima. Rest good, yeah? I'll handle everything from here. Yep, you switch characters that way, and they'll just stand around. Oh. Saejima-san, I'd be glad to head out if there's something you need to taken care of. Oops. I didn't mean to skip that. Main character's possessions. When you're able to swap between main characters, your money points accumulated from the casino, coliseum, as well as items stored in the item box will be consolidated. Also, places that only certain main characters could enter may now be accessible by others. Try exploring Clamor with each of the 4 main characters. Ah. Well, the money from my place is going to be sitting pretty on that roof of the Millennium Tower, so I can't let you have any of that. It'll be from my own personal account. It's accidental tutorial. That's why he was blue. Hey there, Saejima-san. Why don't you kick back, relax. I can handle any errands need running. Yeah. I'm gonna catch my breath. Awesome. I'll swing around later, okay? Alright. I have 3.5 million yen. Wow, I wonder who's contributing the most to that total. It could be anyone. Oh yeah, we can all have the locker key now. Although everyone was able to buy that at the store, I think. I just kept not doing that. I'm just gonna assume he's already wearing his best gear. Oh wait, was he wearing that when I took it off? Whoops. I might have screwed that up. I wanted to make them available to other characters, but I might have unequipped something from him on accident. It's not that big of a deal. Ba-doom. I figure if I'm going to check the open world for side quests, I'll do them in the order of the campaigns that I played. So we'll go back to Akiyama, and then I'll just cycle them in that order or something. That makes sense. But I'm not going to do the fucking hostess clubs and food quests. I'm just going to do story missions that just go straight to the story. I do not need to fight Amon again. I've already done it twice. I've always regretted being completionist in these games. It's the last 20% is always grueling, although so far there hasn't been a major side campaign for any of these characters that is like, get really good at golf for 3 hours, which is actually kind of surprising. That's always a thing. Like, oh, you're gonna do drone racing, or bug woman fighting, or woman fighting, or matchbox cars, and so on. I guess the only one in this game is just when they're like, hey, you should, bye-bye. There's always, he's just always in the background like a phantom, and I don't know where he is. He's my guardian angel. I guess the hostess club is the only one, huh? Them expecting you to do the hostess club thing to an agonizing degree across multiple characters, I guess, is the sub-campaign that's supposed to be the mini game thing with an arc, but nope. I'm not doing that with one character, let alone multiple characters. Either way, I'll see you next time.